You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is, wherever you are, it is always now. Welcome to Outside the Box, yours truly, Kate of Gaia, with criticalmassradio.co.uk, coming at you with truth. If you can handle it. Here's a cautionary. If you cannot handle truth, leave now. Because I do not want to make you responsible for something you will not stand in. Therefore, the universe will give you a bitch slap with a feather or a mountain, depending on how much you defy it once you realize it. Okay, so I'll give everyone that actually is not ready to stand in truth a minute to vacate. This show, I am deathly serious. I'll wait. I think that's long enough time for a warning. You don't understand something if you don't understand this. There's two choices you make with truth. You stand in it, or you realize it and go, I'm not going to do that. Then you're a liar. Oh, guess what? Consciousness knows that. It's not a piece of paper. It's not a meat stick. It's nothing but pure consciousness. Oh, don't worry. If you think you know who you are, and you still have some form of ID in your pocket, don't worry. The universe knows that, and they'll send the dogs to find you. That's your radar. Identification is the radar for the werewolves and vampires. And your agreement to be such a thing in any way, shape, or form allows the werewolves and vampires to feed free by your consent. So don't cry to me. But what I'm going to give to you guys today is something that goes far and beyond anything you've probably ever heard with regards to the silliness of the free man on the land idiot movement, or anything regarding the legal remedy, and I don't care, you can call it common law, you can call it whatever you want. Common law, legal, it's all the same shit. It involves a court. It will inevitably involve a legal name. Okay? So I don't care what Carl Wentz is preaching. He's got lots of right things going on, but he still doesn't have a clue as to who he is. Well, if you're still playing courts, you don't know who you are. And the fact that he's not in jail already is quite surprising. But that's about to change as of today. You see, when I put something together, I put a lot of thought into it. I wouldn't even say I put a lot of thought into it. What I do is I put a lot of silence into it to allow just to simply come in. You see, that's a problem with thinking. You have this thing about trying to rationalize, and then you're going back and forth, bouncing back and forth constantly in an ego left-right conflagration of the hair jumping between Canis Major and Canis Minor. That's your Gemini spirit intent, by the way. That's the three aspects of Gemini. If you want to understand a little bit more about your Gemini, you have lungs and arms and hands, and that's your Gemini. Pop over to hiddenmeanings.com and Bill Donohue's Zodiac series and watch all 12, because you got all 12 signs to solve, not just the one that you think is all about you. Okay? See, the mastery of the game is simply this. In order to become the Jesus, or the Ophiuchus, or the Hercules, or the Joseph, or the Muhammad, the 13th warrior, you got 12 things to deal with. They're called disciplines, or disciples, or labors, whatever you want to call them, zodiacs. But all of these things must be looked at, because if you're only looking at one part, then you're missing the other 11. And there's your duality right there. Isn't that funny how that works? The two pillars. Well, it's not a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Everything ties together very neatly with one thread. So I think that's long enough for anybody that's not ready to stand in the truth, to run away Because that's all you do. And, well, what is someone that runs away? Well, someone that runs away is just a coward, that's all. Or completely ignorant of the truth, at which point they wouldn't be here anyway. So, you know, I don't mess around. I don't mix words, but I certainly mince and mix words at the same time. For one purpose and one purpose only. And it's truth, and that's all it is. Truth. And how do you find the truth? Well, let me remind you, it's easy. You just have to spot the lies. Because in the mirror of a lie is truth. It just depends how hard and how long you're willing to look at your own lies to find your own truth. See, there's the tough pill. That's the one that most people choke on. And I've heard on far too many occasions when people finally realize the magnitude of the legal name fraud, how infectious and invasive it is in not only their lives, but the lives of their family, their children, their friends, all relatives, all humanity. And that's a big one. But let me remind you of this. You see, too many people get caught up in okay, what do I do if I don't have this? And what do I do if I don't have that? I will tell you quite simply that you need to shut the fuck up. Quit fucking whining. Because the most important thing that you have to do right now is sit with this truth and take it upon oneself. Lose the gimme, hold my hand, change my nappies, diapers, etc. motif that you've been in with this system your whole life. And if it's diapers and nappies you want from me, well then you are simply exchanging the whore of Babylon for me, and of course I do not allow that. I do not give consent to anyone or anything to do that with me. It's a very simple thing. You're not going to trade a dead whore for a truth whore. That's how it works. You trade that dead whore for you. Or be content as a slave, lifetime after lifetime, going through the same nonsense as a legal named slave. It's a beautiful trap. Oh, it's brilliant in its delivery and efficacy. It is so perfect and so imperfect at the same time. So what I'm about to share with you, I've had people ask me with regards to court cases and foreclosures and whatever. No sooner did I wake up this morning that I sat bolt upright and went, well, my computer's right beside me. I sleep beside my computer. I have for the last 2.5 years. So I literally sit upright and I'm looking at my computer. And then when I'm done looking at my computer, all I need to do then is lie down. So don't tell me I don't live and breathe this. My whole reality is this. And that reality is going to change very quickly. It's going to change for a lot of people. Those that are willing, and those that aren't, well, don't worry about it. You're dead by consent. The vessel you're walking around in is not yours. You might call it a body. But this is where people have the hardest problem. They still think that the body and their spirit are one and the same. Well, let me remind you, and I've already included it in this, and I'll explain the purpose of this, what I'm going to share. I've already put it up on Facebook. I've given it to Ninja. It might be on cateofgaia.wordpress.com already. I posted it in the Cate of Gaia discussion group. So for those that are seeking to be in my friends, I've got like 250 pending in the last 4 or 5 days. I simply have no room, nor do I have the time to go through. I will eliminate contacts that are still preaching politics or legal or anything as I go to make room for you. But in the meantime, get over to, it's on Facebook, Cate of Gaia discussion group. It's an open group that you are free to join and free to leave at any time. With me, it's all about your free will consent. You see, those that are here for the first time, you're here of your free will consent to be here. If you return to the table at any given time in the future, that becomes your true will choice. Right? So just keep that in mind. But for those that want to stay up to date with what's going on, and you may not have the time to listen or be a part of the table every single day, twice on Tuesdays, 2 shows today, then you also have access to many things. We have Skype rooms. So it's very simple. Just contact me, send me a Skype request, and I can add you to the rooms. Right? We have regional ones, not to separate, but to unite those in areas, geographical areas, to give them a sense of peace and calm, that there are others around them. This is about strength in numbers, not numbers. Okay? There is no divide and conquer in my reality. I do not allow it. I do not give it consent. It's really simple. The purpose of what I'm going to read to you is simply this. There are those caught between the worlds. I'll actually read the post that I put on Facebook. But for those that have got their friend requests in on Facebook with me, I will add you as soon as I can. I'm working on, I've got another Facebook account set up. I will do my best, but quite frankly, the best thing that can be done is go over to the Kate of Gaia discussion group on Facebook and join up, because you'll have direct access to me there anyway. Okay? Lots of people in there that know as much as I do with regards to the legal name fraud are very, very aware of knowing who they are and what they truly are. So understand this, you are not a meat stick. In the same way that when you get into a car, you are not the car. You are the driver. If you need proof of this, go to a funeral home and look at a car with no driver and tell me what it is capable of. So those that have legal name within the system are exactly that. So place them in the coffin mentally that they are in. The dead cannot command the living. But the living can command the dead, because we can drag those dead bodies around anywhere. Well, a dead body can't put up much of a fight, can it? Well, unless you're a real wimp, I don't know. Anyway, the purpose of this, it's a letter, it's a document, it's an essay, it's all of these things. And the message is clear. And for those that have had interface or interaction with, law enforcement officials, collection agents, any bailiffs, judges, cops, any of these individuals, trying to create a joinder by demanding a legal name, are actually aiding and abetting in fraud. We already know that. But you see, if there's a court case involved, here's a bit of a stickler for people. And I'm going to tell you this. If you use this letter, then you are done with the courts. You are done with the cops. You will stand at this point. Because if you use this letter and still go into a court, then that means that you still think that you are the legal name fraud. So this is how you nip it in the bud. And when you maintain this, when you truly maintain this within your heart, you will not be bothered again. But you better start making the baby steps towards cleaning yourself, washing your unclean hands of the filth known as identification, licenses, legal name ID, legal name nonsense. And as I've said before, the only thing that I have is the evidence of the proof of the intent to aid and abet and deceive my mother and father, the creators of this body, who are now deceased. All claims are rendered null and void upon that. So that goes even to a higher level. Another day for that. But it works for everybody anyway. So what this is a preemptive, listen, I know what's going on, and I really don't want to get you the judge or cops or whatever, into any deeper shit than you're already in with the universe by walking into a courtroom, because I know who I am, and if I did so, and you attempted to procure a legal name joinder with me, you are in fact aiding and abetting fraud and enticing me to commit fraud, and also enticing me into committing being a slave. And the mere fact that I walk into that room, I'm already in contempt of your courts. You are already guilty when I walk into that room. But it can also at that point be assumed and presumed that I must still think that I am the legal name. So it's a catch-22, damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. Best not to get involved with that. Best simply to send out contracts to let people know. These are not offers. These are not, hey, what do you think? These are pure, unadulterated fucking truth contracts that bind these monkeys, and I'm going to be very gentle here. I have, on those with psychopathic, sociopathic tendencies and a willfulness to be evil and create harm against another. In that same pity, I can't even put to words the disgust. Yeah, there is nothing that I can use to describe that level of depravity and evil that I will not take part of, will not take part in. So keep that in the back of your mind. So you are hereby cautioned. And I'm going to remind you, I'll read what's on the bottom of the proof of the intent to commit fraud against my parents through the deception. It's right on the document. Got it right here. Can you hear it ruffling? There you go. We hear paper all the time on the show when people have their mics open. Right on the very bottom of it. Now, while it may not be on yours, it doesn't matter. If it's on one, it's on all. These documents were changed over time for a very specific reason. Well, we let them know. They didn't see it. Well, we can get rid of it now. No, you can't. And that is the advantage of being 50 years old. You kind of got old shit to use. It's awesome. Right? I turned 5 again. It's awesome. Anyway, just to let you know, it says right at the bottom of, I have proof of crown fraud. I've written right on it. So anybody wants that, then they're taking the evidence of their own crimes against themselves. And that's the only reason it's carried. I think it's quite funny, actually. You want to talk about garlic around your neck for vampires? Yeah. So it says right in the bottom of it. It's actually in bold all caps. And in canon law, all caps is God. Did you know that? In commerce, it's slave, the lowest of low. And in canon law, it is the ultimate divine creation essence, the most high of high. Well, it has to be equal and opposite in the full contrast. So let's keep walking between worlds here. And we change this reality accordingly. And remember this, the bullshit that is going on around you is your fault. If there is a bonfire that you want put out, stop putting fucking wood and naphtha on it. Savvy? The legal name is that fuel. Warning, a certificate is not evidence of identity. Caution, there are offenses relating to falsifying or altering it and using or possessing a false certificate, Crown copyright. Says all I needed to say. Because the mere fact that there is a Crown copyright on the page, on the paper, the two-dimensional flat earth that these monkeys live in, means that all contained upon it is Crown copyright. So I have the complete proof of their fraud, of their intent to aid and abet and deceive humanity as a whole. This is a crime against humanity. And all those that serve the bar are the guiltiest of all. So let's not partake in their crimes any longer, shall we? That's a good idea. Certainly makes away with the bad idea we've been living in. So here we go. Let me just get this open. And remember, keep this in mind. Do not take anything I write lightly. Do not. Because when I write, R-I-T-E, anything, it is pure contract from a spiritual, carnal perspective only, knowing full well that all things in the material world are dead without consciousness. Again, visit a funeral home, have a look at a dead body, void of consciousness, and tell me how alive it is. As per your fraud, and by the way, I put Bicate of Gaia there just as a reference so you know who wrote it. But when you're sending this, just remove that. You can leave it if you want, but just take that out. Make it yours. But the words contained within this, the concepts contained within those sigils and shapes, your ha-ha moments, that's your power. The words are powerless without you. That's what a word is. It's a creation. It's a spiral. So you have to put the power, the spiral, into the words, and you can only do that with your understanding. And please, guys, enough of this fucking understanding, cocksucking fucking bullshit. That's pure divide and conquer duality. Because somehow you think understand is a bad word. Oh, are you polarized? All things are good and, let me repeat, and evil. Or, let that sink in, because I am sick and tired of monkey chatter. Well, this is good and this is, yeah, fuck you. So I can show you the good and evil in everything. Have a look in the mirror. Have you ever done anything evil? Bad? Have you ever done anything good? Oh, there you go. That means that you are both good and evil. A singularity. Best own up to that concept. Unless, of course, you're fucking perfect, at which point you wouldn't be here anyway. But I know you're perfect in the spiritual sense. This is where we come to the understanding of it. Not the understanding. You can say innerstanding, understanding, overstanding, whatever you want. I can show you it's good and evil in both. I speak in singularity, not duality. If you're speaking in duality, you're still using somebody else's fucking dictionary. You haven't redefined your reality. You're still using someone else's definitions of your reality. And I've done countless shows regarding what it means to neutralize a word. One of the best examples, the simplest example, and why they use the word so much is the word refuse. Or refuse. Well, refuse is garbage. Refuse. No, I don't want to do that. Talk to an electrician. I need you to refuse the panel. Reconnect it. Refuse to have a lawyer? Go ahead, answer yes or no and see how fucked you are. Because you didn't understand. Un meaning un or one in French also means to do away with. Okay? So there's an equal and opposite. I'll take the one out of that one because it's French. That works. The law of, or the language of law is French and Latin, of course. Refuse. Yeah. I refuse a lawyer. Okay, you've rejoined them. That can be assumed and presumed. So if you're only using definition as per someone else is giving you that definition, then you're polarized and you are under that spelling. You're under that spell. Where another intent, a truthful intent, used in full honor, can show your dishonor. There's lots of reasons, but there's only one main reason why a cop will drag someone away. It's because you're walking around with id, entity, phi, ka, shun. Okay? Identification. Well, how does the cop know that, did I mention earlier that your consciousness and what you have in your reality, your consciousness, your contracts and agreements to carry such a thing puts you on the radar? It's a big sonar. Ding! Oh, there's someone that thinks they're not the name and they're carrying ID. Let's go get them. Oh, universe will test you. So you better get this right and get it right quick. It's really simple, actually. But Kate, what paper do I send to... Shut up. You just got to change your mind and change your heart. No paper required. Unless you want to keep sailing on the paper sea. The papacy of Admiralty. To bog down all love. Admire all tea. Oh, but you just thought it had something to do with the boats. Well, I don't know. Admire to bog down. Do you admire the system? See, admire. Oh, you're something to be admired. And that's a positive with the intent, but it means to bog down. It's called ego. Superficiality. Physicality, lost completely in the meat stick world. You haven't got a fucking clue as to who and what you are. So let me share this with you. So for those with anything pending that they think has something to do with them, that you know full well that it's a legal name, has nothing to do with you, and there's really nothing you can do if you go into a courtroom except in contempt of court and get hauled off to jail for doing so by tempting a judge or an attorney into commission of fraud by aiding and abetting them through the legal name, exposing their crimes. Oh, they'll grab you right fucking quick. Because if you're standing there, it's still assumed and presumed that you still think you're the legal name. But here's the thing. If you had a physical interaction with any of these monkeys, which you have to have first, for any of them to be in your reality, well, then you just let them know. Sorry, you made a mistake. You are wrongfully trying to harm me. Now, whether you know this or not is irrelevant. So here we go. As per your fraud. Oh, here, just to let you know about the relevancy of it. If you're walking through the woods and you strike a match and throw it down, while you might think it went out, let's just say it didn't. You kept walking and you find yourself at home. And then a few hours later, on the news comes up forest fire. The very forest you just lit up. Oh, but you thought the match was out. Does that change the outcome? Or is it still a goal if it crosses the line? As per your fraud, to whom it may concern, send this to any and all living people that have come into contact with you. They're the ones that try to aid and abet you, so let them know. You don't need to let anybody else know. Don't worry. Pass it on. To whom it may concern, a vast fraud upon all of humanity has recently come to my attention, and something you may or may not be aware of, depending on your job, role, title, as it relates to government, post office, legal, lawful occupations, law enforcement, military, etc. There is much confusion with many in that one's true name given to them is assumed and presumed to only be a legal name, which it certainly is not. The fraud is presuming one is automatically a legal name in things like mortgages, loans, tickets, fines, taxes, etc., where in fact no disclosure of the intent to commit fraud, entice human into slavery via deception, etc., et al., from the true owner of all legal names, copyright, namely the owners and authors of the Crown Corporation, has never and was never offered, rendering all things legal, lawful, null and void, since it is based on fraudulent intent ab initio. Ab, since before initio began. Since before it began. As a case in point, if someone were to know the difference between the legal name and their true name, which sounds the same, they would be immediately in contempt of every court on this planet if they set foot in one, knowing this, but would also be deemed crazy for even being there, if even only to explain this mistake of assumption, deception. Every judge, justice, or mayor, chief justice, would instantly be guilty of aiding and abetting fraud, which they are anyway, based on their own rules, if someone makes it known to them in a bar-crowned courtroom. While it is not and never my intent to harm anyone, it is also not my intent to place anyone who is unknowingly taking an active role in the theft, slavery, and murdering spiritually humanity as a whole. It is a simple case of damned if you do and damned if you don't, if one carries any form of fraudulent identification, which can only be created after the fact of the birth certificate intent to commit fraud on every mother, father, and child. It is a fact that a birth certificate is not evidence of identity, yet all forms of identification can only be obtained upon the presentment of this intent to commit fraud evidence document. It's quite simple, really. As another simple example of this, nothing in the legal commerce world could, can, or would exist without this legal name fraud in place. That puts everyone with using all forms of legal identification immediately in a state of false personation, fraud, and countless other capital crimes, for the mere free will consent and thinking one actually is a legal name, which they certainly are not. A legal name only exists on paper in a flat earth, two-dimensional paper sea, where those defrauded via deception into using one, thinking they are one, are the very ones that give this dead-by-consent fictional reality its existence at all. It's quite insane, really, when you think about it. When one uses the fraudulent legal name identification, one's own body is assumed, presumed property of the Crown by virtue of the GIFT, gift, see Black's Law, gamete interfallopian transfer, i.e. the point of conception, of the given name, as a result of non-disclosure of this fact to any and all who register their child, pronounced killed, as per Phoenician law, inasmuch as they are also likely registered themselves as slaves per the same fraud perpetrated on their mother and father. The delineation here is quite clear, where the Crown presumes ownership of the physical body via this fraud, where the true living spirit, completely separate from physical, is in control of that vessel, but not of that vessel. Visit a local funeral home to verify lack of spirit in a dead body to see the difference between life source consciousness, present, present, or absent, absent. All material world is dead when it is void of life's consciousness, i.e. humans, animals, birds, insects, plants, etc. As an example, it is the same as someone stealing your car you think you own, but mom and dad sold, or gift dead, it at conception on the assembly line, and then take the car with you in it to the crusher, and all the doors are locked, seemingly permanently. Well, the doors are unlocked now, where it can no longer be presumed that I have anything to do with the legal name, regardless of all identification, because the original sin, crime, intent to deceive, aid and abet fraud already belongs to the owners and authors of the Crown Corporation. While much confusion and ignorance of this fact eludes most law enforcement and bar member Crown oath, it does not elude me. Therefore, 1, it is not my intent to commit fraud nor aid and abet anyone else into the same commission, omission thereof, where assumption, presumption of all legal names, aliases, joinder via bearing false witness, etc., all are concerned. And 2, any all attempts by, of, for, any all who assume, presume me, the life source consciousness, within my body reclaimed, will be deemed high treason against the creator of all itself, as I am part of all consciousness, and my Kur-Ti, heart and the law of truth, courts, and by virtue of your own rules, are now obligated to arrest, detain, incarcerate any and all legal named servants, slaves acting in any all titles, offices, etc., at all, who have attempted, are attempting, or will attempt to engage in pledge in this activity against me and any all those who know this fact. And 3, any all harms created against me, my family, and humanity must now be made right, where all things stolen, including time, must be put back in the hands of the true owners, where these crimes against me and us could only be fulfilled in, of, by, and for this crown owner's oath intent to commit fraud ab initio. Do not expect me in any all of your courtrooms or venues, because it is not my wish to put you, myself, or anyone in the position of high treason, in the same way that those who serve the whore of Babylon Crown Corporation, via the mark of the beast, legal name, fraud with intent, by their own commission, omission, ignorance of this truth. As one of the true living beings on this planet, those that consent to be dead have no voice, where my voice shall command them now. I will simply now ask you, is it your intent to commit fraud or abet me into committing fraud knowingly? You are hereby commanded by me, the living, to contact me to make amends in all Crown Corporation frauds against me, that shall include, though not limited to, any and all who have committed fraud, borne false witness against me, where to not do so places you in high treason against the heart of all creation itself. Freely, by and of my own consent, let creation itself take its course. I judge not, lest I be judged. I, who am without legal name, wash my hands of those who are of unclean hands. Assumption, presumption of legal name, fraud, nulled and voided, nunc pro tunc pro nunc, ab initio ad infinitum, fiat justitia ruat caelum, denique ultimatum revirio verum. To fail in following your own laws, you render any all laws, statutes, null and void. If you are confused in any of these matters, please feel free to visit cateofgaia.wordpress.com at your leisure for a detailed explanation of countless ignorances removed. Ignorance of the true law is not a defense of or from it. Written with in Phoenician sonic definitions as defined only by me as per my intent, assumption and presumption of any all possibilities other than my own are destroyed ab initio. Read the following information as a courtesy on my part, lest you fear seeking truth any further, where this is already and forever will be your binding contract to make you right your ignorant ways. Now, I also added to it, and I corrected a few things on it, just your contract now, the one that had a few typos on it. I've added to the bottom of this, so please keep it all together. It'll just reinforce anything that you were saying. But I assure you, if you do use this, you must not go into a courtroom. I will warn you right now, and I will be in full support of the system, that if you use this with the true knowledge that you are not the legal name, this is when you really know yourself. If you use this, I am in full agreement with whatever the judge decides to do with your fraudulent aiding and abetting another into committing fraud ass. And like I said last night, the guillotine is sitting in the middle of my courtroom. Any takers? You walk into my world, my reality, my courtroom with thinking that you are not a legal name, claiming to not be a legal name because you received a piece of paper that made you think you were that legal name, I will execute you on the spot. I will not waste the court's time, nor will I go through the waste of time, energy, and effort to throw you into a prison where now I have to feed you, heat and cool you, give you water, bed, and everything else. That's your responsibility. So please, come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. Your choice. Do not take these words lightly. We are playing a game of dark principalities here. This is a spiritual game. This is not a physical one. Know the difference. Know the difference. Are you a body lying in a coffin, legal name dead? Or are you the commander, the sole commander of your vessel that was hijacked at the point of conception through a fraud? Now fly. You have your wings, if you wish. But do not come to me with your pitiful little, oh, but what do I do? What you do is you sit down, you shut the fuck up, you get deep, you get silent, and you go to my website. Lots of helping hands there. And you just read. At that point, you can enter open and fair discussion with others who know who they are, that are as sick of these stupid scenarios. Questions, what if, but, Kate, how? Shut the fuck up. Because I'll tell you this right now, when I did it, I didn't have a fucking clue either. So what are you asking me for? I just put my faith in all creation itself. That being said, time to open the lines up. You can call in here at 347-326-9530. Yes, it's a different number from the nighttime one. 347-326-9530. And, of course, you can Skype in through the Blog Talk page if you're listening there. I'm just going to check to see if someone has put on the Skype, what do you call it, Skype listener number. Just looking, just scrolling, looking. Anybody? Okay, if anybody could share that with me, that would be great. I can actually help people. Oh, yeah, Paul's asking too. So if anyone knows Equicentric, Charisma, if you guys can post the... Thank you. Thank you, Gina and Equicentric. The BTR listener is 020. So just put that in your Skype search, contact search, right in Skype itself. Hit search, and when it comes up, BTR listener 020, right-click it and hit call when the menu comes up. It's right at the very top. And that will bring you directly to the board. Once you're on the board, all you have to do once here is hit 1 on the phone dial pad or open up the dial pad on Skype. Don't worry, you'll figure it out. I've done enough fucking hand-holding. And you hit 1 there too. Okay? Then that lets me know that you want in here. Okay, so let me see. Wayne and White had hoped to call in, so I'm really hoping to hear from them today. I do want to open a cordial invitation for White and, of course, Ted this Saturday night. I know it's late over in the UK. It's midnight, but it's a Saturday night, and it's party night. We have Ethan and Trinity are going to be hosting the Kate's Kids Cove. We talked to them last night, and they said they would be more than happy to do it. And I would love nothing more than for all the kids to get together at their table. It's our table, guys. Everyone's welcome here, okay? And I'm going to be asking for someone to helm that night from the Kate's Kids Cove or someone involved in that so that we can create more unity. I'll be there anyway, but just so we can create more unity with everyone, okay? That's critical. So for those that have been wondering and whining about, oh, I'm afraid court's coming up and all the rest of it, guys, I've been there, okay? Boy, what would I do with the stuff I have now? Well, I see what I'm going to do with the stuff I have now. Now for them, baby, not pro-tunk. These are gifts of gifts, guys, that have been paid for dearly with not only what I've done, but with what countless others have done ahead of you. This is where we are standing, asking you to climb. It's a very simple thing. It really is. All right, so we got Lynn and looks like Janet in on the call here. So once again, 347-326-9530 to get in the call. And of course, BTR listener 020. Follow your nose. Lynn, Janet, how are you?
Oh, wow. Go ahead, Lynn. I'll wait for you.
Say hi. Just enjoying listening, and it's next level stuff, as Ninja said. For me, just it keeps going deeper and deeper. So I'm enjoying listening today. The children are not around, so it's rather quiet.
Right on. Here, while I've got you guys, let me clarify a couple of things and bounce this back and forth just to make sure that everyone gets what's going on here. Now, you understand how the crown managed to grab the body, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, just for everybody else, I'll explain it this way. Mom and Dad, who were likely registered, my mom and dad were, okay, are already slaves of the system by their own consent. Ignorant, yes. It doesn't absolve the fact that someone threw the match in the forest to begin with. That's what started the fire. Mom and Dad just got burned up in it, okay? So I'll use myself as an example. So my mom and dad, who were both registered birth certificates, were already slaves of the system. So they didn't have a voice within the system. So when their bodies were owned by the crown as a result. And that was a freely given, because remember, the first registrations had to be a free will choice. So that is a full surrendering of that individual. Might have been your grandparent, might have been your parent, who knows. But the simple fact is, all of us that have birth certificates that were issued, and the only document ever issued by the Crown Corporation, and absolutely insists that you take it, is the birth certificate. So what happens there is, it was tied to the legal name, the two-dimensional world, to make you dead, flat. Flatlining. Flat Earth, flatline, they're not coincidences. Okay. So what happens there when Mom and Dad come up with a name for you, that comes out of the ether. That's not a physical creation. That's an idea. That's a thought. And they decide to call you XXX. Okay? And they think, oh, this is great. And well, we need Mr. and Mrs. X. We need you to register your child. What is their name? And of course, you say, well, the child's name is XXX. At that instant, the free will consent is already given up, because the gift can be assumed to be one of anything. Remember, these are wide open. All these words are wide open. Don't get caught into the thinking it only means this, because there are many hidden intents contained within every sound, within every word. I've shown that too many times in too many ways. Okay? So what happens there is very simply this. When Mom and Dad register the name, what they're doing is they're giving up the dead body. Well, it appears to be alive. It's only alive because it's feeding off Mom's spiritual source. Because you don't get in that body until that body's out of Mom. Two spirits, pure spirits, cannot occupy the same space. So baby pops out. Boom, in you go. Now, I have a memory of that myself, and I've heard from others that have had the same memory as well. So I know I did not. That I grabbed the body when it came out, and not before it. So the whole time in that 9 months that body is inside Mom, it is part of her spirit. It is her life force that is feeding that child. I think that's pretty easy to prove scientifically, yeah? Okay, I thought so too. If Mom has life force, life source, and there's an umbilical cord, why do you think they want the umbilical cord cut so quickly? Lots of reasons there, but it's a spiritual reason. These are the questions I ask. Why did they want that cut so fast? because they want that body away from mom as quickly as possible. And what they're really, my hunch is, what they're really trying to do is to disconnect that from mom before the spirit even has a chance to get in there. I think if they had it their way, they'd be cutting a fucking umbilical cord inside of mom. Why do you think there are so many cesareans? Lots of questions to answer why. Don't get physical on this. Stay metaphysical on this. Okay, so now the 9 months that it's in mom, because mom is contracted as a slave via the legal name, and she's already willfully consented to be that legal name, that means that anything attached to her that is registered, could be a house, could be a car, could be a baby growing in the womb, it's attached to her. She registers it, and dad go into agreement. Read Ward of Admiralty in the Black's Law Dictionary, you'll understand what a Ward of Admiralty is, and why dad is in a perceived lesser bargaining position than the builder of the body. That's why they made dad the patriarchal, the one in control, when it's actually shared. It's both. Okay? So by definition and attachment, when mom registers or agrees to register, they always go after mom. You never notice that? Right? When mom registers the child, she's actually giving her property. And I'm going to speak very literal here, just to keep it clear. Because really, the body and everything in the material world is simply that, property. It is void of life without you or living consciousness in it. And that's all it is. Again, get the visual of the coffin with the dead body in it. And you'll understand that that's what everything in the physical world is. It's dead without you. So those that want to play in the dead, by consent, dead world, let the dead carry out the dead, Whore of Babylon commerce fiction world, only play with the dead. They're only interested in the dead. But like I used the analogy of the body being a car with the doors locked and you're trapped inside, if that car was given away or sold to someone else without your knowledge, you don't have a say in the matter. Even if you're locked inside it. Because you are. You're locked inside your car, your body, your ka-ro, the spirit breath, the personified spirit. Ka is the personification of spirit, is the union of the physical and the spiritual. That's you and the body, ka. Right? That's where both worlds come together. So that vessel, that is attached to mom through the umbilical cord, that is your navel, nothing to do with Admiralty, I guess, is what attaches her. And when she registers the name, it's still attached to her. And even after the fact, it's irrelevant. Because slaves don't have a say in the matter. So the registration of a legal name for a child is the complete and utter surrender of the dead material, mistaken to be alive with spirits of its own body that's in the womb. Remember, when a woman gets pregnant, every one of her cells gets imprinted with fetus. The gamete, then the fetus. Or zygote, right? And fetus, whatever, till it gets out to the child stage. You see what's going on here?
Yeah.
All the baby is another extension of mother, where a reaction was created with the sperm and the egg between mom and dad. So that's how the vessel is claimed. It's an empty vessel. It is devoid of its own personality at that point. And if mom is claimed, so is the body. So we've been doing this to ourselves, but we've been unraveling all of this. I just want to make it very, very, very clear as to how this is done to save a lot of the nonsense of the left-mind, intellectual, monkey, legal, lawful chatterers that need simply to be shot personally for harming so many people by convincing them that there's some sort of remedy in the legal lawful when they're all standing in fucking fraud to begin with. You know, look at people like Kevin Annett and the people that chase that dopey fucking shill. right? Kevin, you're setting up the world courts and you're using what? Legal names? Yeah, how's that working for you? Oh, that's right. You just want to keep making sure you get lots of followers because you picked up on the native genocide to be the fucking hero of heroes, and all you are is another Russell Brand Pied fucking Piper. I know I looked into your eyes, you empty bastard. Oh, I scared you. I saw it in your face. You did not feel comfortable around me. Well, liars never do.
I bet, yeah.
I'll look you in the eye. You want to see my world? Careful, the reflection's going to hurt. Because I'm going to expose the bullshit in you as I've exposed it in myself. Isn't it funny? My Mayan aspect is white solar mirror. Duality storm? Yeah, that works too. Gemini dragon? I think I got that one covered as well. Okay, so is that pretty clear though as to how the body gets grabbed and is actually owned and crown property?
Crystal clear. I mean, we're caught before we even take our first breath. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, see, the first breath the child takes is when the spirit enters. That's the spirit entering the body.
I was going to say clear as a bell. We were kind of on the same page there, Janet. Very clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I just want to make sure that people really get this. It's critically important, especially anyone that's still chasing after any legal remedy. A few names that keep coming up, like Rob Halford, Carl Lentz, well, of course, Dean, he's in jail. Tammy Peppermint, Rocco, he's still in jail. Bozo Entertainment, or Bo Knows, or something like that, anyway. Yeah, how's that working for you, Tammy and Bo? Get your house back yet? Because you fucking gave it up when you said you were Tammy Peppermint on the phone to the sheriff, you dopey bitch. I fucking told her that, too. I only get really angry at people when I tell them something and they fucking do it anyway. And then they come back to me going, what happened? Well, you're fucking stupid. That's what happened. What are you asking me for? Look in your goddamn mirror, you fucking moron. Are we having something today or what?
Hey, you know, I would like to add to your list that you're speaking of right now. I ran across a video. Vinny Eastwood was interviewing Andrew Bartzis, and
what a shell he is, Andrew.
Yeah. Have you run across New Earth Nation stuff at all?
Andrew Bartzis?
Yeah. However, they have this club now, but they're calling it New Earth Nation, and we've got this Paul, I can't remember the last name, and Sasha Stone. Apparently, they're going to be having like classes, training people how to prosecute judges and such like that. Legal remedy yet again. So would it not just be easier? Hang on. Would it not just be easier to command the dead? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the joy of all consciousness and letting it go. Because the simple truth is, when I set this out, it will go out today to a handful of people. One in particular will be a guy acting in the role of chief of police in the city of Guelph. The contract's already out there, Brian Larkin. It's already in the consciousness. And you have an obligation now. You will either stand in your own statutes and laws and take care of the legal name fraudsters and false impersonators, including yourself, and take care of it. Or, as a result of not doing that, I'm sorry, if the laws do not apply to you, then they do not apply to anyone. So your whole system is fucked anyway. In the ethereal sense, it's done. You have no idea what was going through my mind and heart when I was writing this, and the ramifications of what it actually is. This is a get it done, once and for all. I am living, I command my vessel, I command my ship, and since you are dead by consent, you don't have a fucking say in it. But I'm going to use you now, you little puppet of the dead, to carry out the other dead. You know, people like the former bank manager of Montreal, Nora Detler. who knowingly, unknowingly, by commission or omission, defrauded me out of the energy that I thought was buying my home when she stole it on and for those that are on the board of the Bank of Montreal. Bank of Montreal is a corporation. It's dead, but it has living entities that own it. And that includes every fucking shareholder are guilty. Still want to play in the stock markets, boys and girls? Stocks and bonds? I don't know about you, but if you ever got caught in the stocks in medieval times, you didn't like it. And bond, well, that's just glue, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a wrap up. Wrap up.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I need people to see the ramifications of this. And the joy of this is simply, I had a great chat with Rose yesterday. And I knew that I had to write something like this once and for all for people to not, and Mike, of course, who went in of his own volition, I recommend against it regarding going into court, but he wanted to make a stand, and I'm so grateful that he did. And of course, this we need to get this information to, on behalf of Michael in Maryland, to all of the Goonies that are involved. And the Goonies that are involved are now commanded to Mike out, get him out of there, because they're dealing with an individual that did not have the intention in his heart to aid and abet a judge into the commission of fraud by being there. You see, this is one of the things that was made crystal clear, as it has been before, but this one, just absolutely crystal clear, that if you set foot into a courtroom knowing what you know right now, you are in contempt of court. And you will get locked up. In my court, you will. I already told you what I'll do to you in my court. You walk in here with a legal name, just slide up onto that guillotine there and pull the fucking string yourself, because you did it to yourself. Oh, by the way, lie face up so you can see the blade coming down. That's got to be a lot more fun. Then you got about 2 minutes rolling around. So I'll drag your sorry ass head out and show you the notice on the door that says, if you think you're not the legal name, and you want to come into my court saying that you're not the legal name, whereas a piece of paper that made you think you were a legal name brought you here. Okay. And then, of course, I'll drag the carcass and the head out past everybody in line. Next. Anybody else here who thinks they know who they are?
That should wake everybody up out there lined up. I think they'll be like, whoa, what am I doing here?
And you know the best part about this? I am not passing judgment. I am merely accepting your free will consent to be dead. There's no judgment there.
There's none, no.
Universal honor is upheld. I told you it was brilliant in its efficacy and delivery and layout and setup. You want to be a better player, then play a smarter one. I think it's pretty easy. So again, I'm going to caution anyone who thinks they know who they are, if they use this document, to not set foot in a courtroom, because if you do, I'm flowing all my support and energy towards a judge that throws your sorry ass in jail. So you have a choice. You can still play around in the legal nonsense and all the rest of it, knowing full well that it's matrix, that it's got nothing to do with you, and you can try all sorts of funky little, promissory note stuff, right, Santo Bonacci? Man, I thought you knew who you were. No, I'm done with the facade. I am so done with people claiming they know who they are and that they're going to have this legal remedy and that. And for those that continue to do that, may the harms come at you 1,000-fold for what you are doing to your fellow man by keeping them embroiled in the matrix. Okay, Andrew Bartzis, Sasha Stone, Tammy Pepperman. Well, Dean's already doing his thing. So is Rocco. Bo, yeah, you too. The list goes on here, boys and girls, but you know who they are. Those that are walking in the light, moving forward to get the word out with the real truth of what is going on here, to free themselves of this body bondage, Oh, you're okay in my world. But do not cross me.
There's crosses all over the sky around me. Giant X's. The goddess is like, yes.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here for Mama, baby, the heart of all creation, and shake the fleas off your back, Mama girl.
Yeah.
I pulled the High Priestess this morning. I think that's kind of fitting.
You think?
Yeah. Hey, have you watched White Noise? The movie?
White? No, I haven't seen it.
It's very interesting. The allegories, I'm picking apart still. However, one of them is the dark principalities controlling people is a huge one in that show for me. It's pretty trippy. You might take a look and see the allegories in it, and the list of names, and oh my goodness, the allegories are deep and plenty. It's about an electronic voice phenomena. Michael Keaton stars in it, and his wife dies, and so a man was receiving messages from her and brought the message to him, and then he became obsessed with the the electronic voice phenomena, and began doing it himself. He was warned not to by a psychic. She wanted to help protect him, but he refused. And, well, do you want to know the end? He died. But, the allegories are pretty deep. Anyhow, dark principalities, it's all a spiritual thing. For me, it's not been a difficult jump for the spiritual, looking at the spiritual side during my religious fanatic stage. That's the side that I really picked up on and fancied myself as a spiritual warrior. And, I was just crazy enough to believe the stuff like the kingdom of heaven is within and heal or heal thyself and such like that. So that spiritual part has not been difficult for me to buy into. And, well, the rest of that thought flew away, so it's okay.
That's okay, hon. That's okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, so.
Yeah, it seems to have been a problem with loading up that file. One sec. There it is. Got it now. Open. Into the Gaia discussion group. So I just reposted it for those, and I will just remove the other one. Delete the post. So you have it. Delete. Yes. Sorry for anyone that commented. Appreciate your comments. Let me see. Make sure it goes up this time. I want a copy of it. Now, this, again, is just a letter you would send to say any cops that you interfaced with. That remember, get it to the place where the living dead entity, the one that's living pretending to be dead with a legal name entity, try to contract with you. See, the dead cannot contract with the living. Okay? And that's exactly what the Guelph police and the banks and all the rest of it did long after they knew I knew who I was. So everything that was done in absolute fraud. Now, I'm hoping that this has went up this time. We'll see. But anyway, I'll check with Ninja to see if she's actually got... no, she hasn't got it yet. To get that up on caneofgaia.wordpress.com. I've already handed it out to a few people. I did get a post from Fogs earlier, so let me just talk about timing, eh? It's kind of funny how this works.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this came in from Fogs. Bailiffs came today looking for a legal fiction to pay a council tax bill. After half an hour, they left without a name, claiming a neighbor had identified me as a name. That is no longer any fraud committed by another bearing false witness against you, right? Just because they're ignorant of who they are does not make you guilty of their fucking stupidity, okay? Anyway, I've printed Babylon has fallen. I am the witness, and Aal to give them. If they return, they tried all and sundry to get joined here unsuccessfully. They said they will bring police. Fucking A, man. Foggs, you just hand those cockbags their walking papers. And by the way, just as a point in reference, if the cops do show up, say, yeah, listen, you just tell them there was a couple of people here trying to aid and abet me into committing fraud by using a legal name. And since you are of the dead world and I am living, I need you to place them under arrest for aiding and abetting enticing slavery. Start handing the shit back. It won't take too many bank managers and low-level cops and lawyers and what have you to get arrested for the fraud before this whole thing comes right down. It's already done, eh? So this truth has gone viral. Have you not seen it in the consciousness? It's fucking magnificent.
Yeah.
Beyond magnificent. And that's all because of all of us. You, me, all of us. You see anything? Here, the joy of me knowing me is the fact that I can write this stuff all day long. But if the word's not getting out, well, then what is it? This is why my gratitude for all of those that are part of this, that are taking part in this, to be a part of this co-creation, are so absolutely critically important in the ideal reality that we are creating collectively as individuals, where our children, ourselves and our children, can finally be free. The ones that are working within these government systems, that have no concept of what's really going on, that are as duped as we were, can finally get their lives back if they choose. Or they can still remain in ignorance, thinking that their paycheck is the only thing that matters. Screw the family, got to have my career, that kind of stuff. Then by all means, career. Well, that puts a spirit behind, doesn't it? If you know what a rear admiral is, well, there you go.
Yep.
Well, I guess
children have showed up. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
That Ethan and Trinity and White and Ted and all the kids that have been jumping in. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
It just is. It's just, I know it. Yeah, I just feel the adventure just rising inside. It's so great.
It's just when all the pieces come together in terms of the coinciding, there are lots of pieces that have already started to join with me. Of course, Ethan and Trinity, that ties in with my oldest daughter, Emily T, right? So, yeah, it's kind of funny how that works. And yeah, I just went fractal. Go ahead.
Well, just another coinky doink. I don't think I've mentioned that my youngest daughter's nickname is Rennie, and that could be an alternative spelling of your middle name.
Yeah, reborn.
Connections here and there.
Well, see, when we start seeing how we are each connected to each other, which we are, that's when we start getting that, hey, I'm connected to you and you're connected to me, and I can see how and why, and look, we're one, but we're all separate. But we have these really cool allegories. Every story is the same, just told in an infinitely different allegory is all.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see the connections. And I've come to the place of, looking for the similarities with us. And it's fun. It is really fun.
It sure is. And we have Maggie online here as well. Maggie, what's up with you, hon?
Oh, hello. Thank you for being here. Well, I'm just so confused, Kate, because it's, first of all, yes, it's exploding around you when you first wake up to this. And I knew this, and I've seen it for many years, but only
Okay, Maggie, if you're using an open mic on the laptop, you're getting a lot of feedback, and it really sounds like shit. I can hardly make out what you're saying. So turn the speakers down so you're not getting a feedback loop. Or angle your laptop slightly different so that the speaker aren't getting picked up by the microphones. Laptops are designed to have a sweet spot, so try to find the sweet spot. So you still there?
I'm still here.
That's better. That sounds better.
Okay, hon, I got a stationary, a laptop. I mean, who wants to sit with that crap on the lap? Not me. No, sorry. Well,
yeah, you disappeared again.
Okay, is this better? No?
Yeah, because whatever you were doing there, creating a feedback, because I could hear myself echo back. So let's try it one more time, or we'll try it another time. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the good thing about no time is waiting is not an issue here. But anyway, this is struggling me at not because I want to go out and save the world, but because we have to go out sometimes and get some food and stuff. And we
okay, Maggie,
yeah,
Maggie.
Yeah.
I can already hear the victim in your voice. So I'm going to ask you to chill out for a second here. What people need to do instead of worrying about that, because the universe has it, and I'm fucking tired of explaining this to everybody. Okay? What did I have 2.5 years ago when everything was taken? I didn't have you, and I didn't have anybody coming to say, "Oh, no problem, Kate." Okay? So I don't want to fucking hear it from anybody. What I need people to do is simply shut the fuck up for 5 seconds and quit whining about their situation. And just sit back and just know what's going on here. Have a little faith in the of all creation. You see, that's a Luciferian mind still trying to solve something. Because once you get this and you get back your full honor in universe, if you need to use money, then you're now transmuting it. You're not feeding the beast. You are starving it and poisoning it with money. Remember, money is good and evil. Again, the fucking polarities. How many times do I have to explain this same thing with people? You see, the fine line that I have to draw here is this. I'd love to say to you that you can use whatever you need to in full honor once you know who you are, but I'll tell you the risk of the fucking programmed ego. Oh, well, Kate says it's okay to use ID. And you will take that literally. And it is okay, but under very, 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 very tight circumstances. And you better know who the fuck you are. Then you can use it. That's why I had to find the honor in money so that I could use it, and it transmutes through me. It cannot own me, nor can I own it any longer. But here's the truth of planet fucking Earth, everybody. Because you're not quite in your God state yet, you still haven't figured it out, and that's okay. In the meantime, you still have to do things like, eat. And if you're not an agriculturist, you're not really ready to start planting right away and eat. Tomorrow, you'll probably be starved before the first fucking plant came up.
Oh.
So carry on within the game. But change your goddamn mind. And I don't want to hear it, and this is not just you. This is fucking... Everyone that contacts me has got this same fucking wine fest going on. I did it too. But I went looking for the honor. How do I do this and stay in honor? And those that were helping me, that were still in the system, I was nullifying their contract by them helping me. I was transmuting them by them helping me. That's how we help each other. And that's for everybody. That rant was for everybody. Grow the fuck up and grow a pair.
Yeah.
Is that fair? I think that was pretty good. That was not bad. Actually, I'd put that up in maybe the top 15.
It's awesome, Kate. And yes, it's
you get it? You get it? You get it?
I get it. I get it.
Okay,
I get
good.
it.
Good.
So, I feel fun because I got this universe behind me too. And I'm very lucky to have found you.
Universe is all around you. You are the universe.
I am the universe. Yeah, I know.
Accept it.
The question is, Kate, how do you manage to combine all the knowledge you got, who is pure cool knowledge, which for me in the stage I'm in, it's like, well, what am I going to use all this knowledge for? It's part of the program.
Well, again, okay, one sec. Yeah, okay, I'm going to answer the question. So you asked a question. I know where you're going because I've had this one so many times before. I know exactly where you're going. Okay, so you're going to take responsibility for the answer here. Fair?
Yeah.
Knowledge with experience. Knowledge is useless of and by itself. I can sit here and theorize all day long. Okay? That's what university and school is all about. Let's have a theory that 1 + 1 must equal 2. Huh? Okay, so that's knowledge. Absolutely fucking useless in the grand scheme of things, yes?
Yeah.
But let's put some experience with it. Let's put the Christ consciousness in it. When you put experience and knowledge together, what do you get?
You don't want me to say this name, so I won't. But you
get wisdom. Simple. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So this is where we differentiate ourselves from the monkey chattering left brain fucking lunatics of the intellectual realm that can only deal in theories, case study, legal lawful nonsense. That's monkey banter. Okay?
Yeah.
They have lots of knowledge. Oh, and they have lots of court experience with that knowledge, but it doesn't transmute because it's still going in circles. And here's the difference, hon, and this is what I want to remind everybody. How many of you out there have spent the last 4.5 years of your life, 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a fucking week, and 6 years of radio broadcasting 7 nights a week for the last year or so, or more, probably a year and a half, every single night? How many of you have done that?
Not me. I have protected my ego.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
okay.
I need to sleep. I need to... Sorry?
Okay, I'm answering your question, okay?
Yeah. You are.
So please compare apples. Let's compare your apples with my oranges. It can't happen, but what I can do is go, here's all the oranges I found. They're yours. You don't need to compare your apples and oranges. I'm just going to give you the oranges to investigate now, to see if you like them. And I got the best oranges on the planet, baby.
I know.
I'm picking for the highest fruit I can find. I got the ripest, the ones that have got the most sun, the most life energy in them. And that's the only difference here. And here's the other difference. It's free for everybody. And in that freedom, that doom, silence, you will find the truth. That's why anyone that is out charging money for anything, legal remedy, need to be put up on a post and shot. Anyone that is charging anyone that is charging anything for legal or lawful remedy in any way, shape, or form needs to be put against a post and shot for the harm they are bringing upon humanity. I'm not playing gentle here today, boys and girls, because, sorry, I don't do that. Not when it's your existence on the line. I got mine. I'm trying to help you get yours. If you want it. If you don't, that's great. Don't worry about it. Universe needs lots of dead consciousness called rocks.
Yeah.
Okay? Just take the time, guys, and breathe. Stop trying to figure shit out. That's Luciferian. Accept. Again, this is download. These are concept download. I don't have to think. I haven't had to think for ages. And anytime I do, I start bitch slapping myself for it. Shut up. Clear mind, clear heart. Go ahead.
The downloads, when you are amongst, let's call them dead meat. Yeah. Because that's how I see them. Like, I saw them like that until I got to the table. But how do you stay in the core so you get the downloads and not their projections? Because
Fair answer. Fair answer. A fair question. I'll give you a fair answer. One statement. They're not your concern. Stay the course. Plant the seed and walk the fuck away, or you, as you have just sounded, are completely guilty of judgment. I observe actions. I can only judge actions, not the being, as something I would or would not do.
So this is when, as soon as I get this feeling, Maggie, you are trying to control this. You are trying to put your...
what am I trying to control, Maggie?
No, me. When I get this feeling, yeah, because I sometimes get between some elders, and they are so with us. If you only knew how many elders, grands who are with us, they don't know a clue about what we're doing, but they are with us. And,
okay. Well, here's a question. Ask me if I give a fuck.
Of course you do, hon, because...
No, actually, I don't, and I do at the same time, because, okay, I'm really going to drive this point home. Oh, boy, am I going to drive this point home. Okay? Yeah. You were caught in an emotional fucking cesspit, thinking that they are your problem. No, you are your problem. And the longer you linger in somebody else's monkey game, that's, hey, not my circus, not my monkeys, then you are going to continually attract that in your reality because you're accepting it. I do not accept idiocy in my reality. And guess what I get? I get some cool folks to hang out with.
Yeah.
Not only that, I have this table every single day to sit around with the rest of me that gets it. Am I going to concern myself with people that are rushing to Walmart to get a fucking sale item? No. That's their world. They're chasing that illusion. Let them go. Because when you change your mind to not be part of the dead world any longer, what you're going to start noticing is the living will start showing up around you. So those that are asleep around you are a direct reflection of you and your own sleepiness, and trying to hold on to them, thinking that somehow you have to be their savior, their rescuer. Let me assure you, I've done that. It will hurt you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing that. It's not something I would do anyway. So yes, and an ego wants to control. I don't want any control. I just want truth. Creation has this, all the control that's needed. I am not even going to remotely think that somehow I know better than the heart of all creation itself.
Of course not. Of course not.
I think they call that reality, don't they?
That would be very stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know different. And to run this, to rubble this. No, what's this called? To end this. I know exactly what you mean, and I just have to...
You gotta let go.
Yeah. And then just be happy when I'm around the ones who gets it, and then shut the fuck up and let the meat sticks be meat sticks. Because I'm sitting right in front of them, I'm talking with the others about it, and they get it, and it's their fight, not mine.
You know what people need to do is they need to start creating cookie jars of themselves. Hey, I got something really cool, but you can't have any. Walk away. You want to see flies chase you? Woo!
Yeah, I know.
Those kids will chase looking for cookies all day long. You tell a child they can't have a cookie in the cookie jar, that's the first place they're going to go looking, right?
Yeah.
So be the cookie jar. Oh no, I see here. If you really want to put it in the simplest terms of people, it's like this. Oh yeah, it's interesting you say that. I've come across some things that actually have absolved me of all of that nonsense. But and I'd love to share it with you, but I don't think you don't. I don't think you'd get it. But anyway, no, it's all good. Hey, listen, did you see the game last night? You fucking plant that seed, and they're going, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't get there?
Yeah.
Play the ego fiddle, will ya? Make it dance.
Hon, I don't like the goats. The goats are for you, please.
No. It's not goats, hon. It's not goats, okay? And I'm not talking just to Maggie. I'm not talking just to you. So stop taking me personally, okay?
Yeah.
No, you're answering me personally. That's why anytime I'm talking directly to you, I will say Maggie. I want to make sure
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is for everybody. So stop. If you take anything I say personally, I'm just going to tell you to fuck off, you selfish prick.
Thank you.
How dare you think I'm just caring about you and nobody else? You see what I'm saying? No, it's so simple. It's not about getting goats, hon. This is exactly how to not get a goat. To not get the ire of somebody up. Me, I can collect goats because I want them, but I'm dealing with very, very intellectual people.
Yes.
Yeah, just saying I disagree with Sasha Stone and Andrew Bars isn't quite enough for me and their goat. To say that they're cocksucking shills that are selling humanity down the fucking river of illusion along with Russell Brand and the rest of these monkeys, now that's going to get some goats, I think. That's my job, not yours, so you be you, you'll be me. But you can work with an ego so easily once you control your own. And while you have emotions, you are not in control of yourself. If you cannot control yourself, what makes you think you can control your reality? That's insanity. So let me share with everyone, Maggie, you, everyone. It's a very simple thing. If you meet someone in your family, for example, that kind of knows what you're about and doesn't want to get into it, and say, listen, be very honest because you are being honest. Listen, I'd love to talk to you about this, but all it's going to do is create turmoil with you. What I do know is that what I have works. It is truth of all the nonsense. And I'm really happy that you enjoy all the nonsense, so I don't want to ruin that for you. You enjoy the chaos and the illusion, and I don't want to take that from you. And you're going to have legal problems and everything else that I can solve in the snap of a fingers, but you don't want that, and I don't want to appear to force it on you. Okay? And besides, what I know right now, you wouldn't fathom because there's too much going on from your programming of the system. I came through it too. I was programmed, I know. So I have empathy and I have pity for you. But please, do not ask me questions that I know you will not want the answer for until you're ready for it. And when you are, you'll let me know. And then I'll share it with you openly, freely, and willingly. And if it takes you to get yourself into a fucking mess, legally or something, someone trying to steal your home, your car, your family or something, don't worry, I'll be standing right here. And I will always be standing right here for you. I have your back. Where you may not have mine, I will have yours. That I promise you. And I will not falter, and I will not yield. And nothing will get by me. No one gets to the Father but through me. And I stand with that power when you wish for it, right there, shoulder to shoulder with you. Those are my terms, because I love you that much. You choose or not, it's entirely yours. Free will choice. I simply now choose to walk away.
Perfect.
I think it's fair. It's what I want someone to do for me, Maggie.
Yeah, exactly.
And not one.
I got it. Thank you so much.
If you knew what I have in unconditional love for you and everyone, if you knew, you wouldn't ask me a single question. You would simply stand. Because I promise you, I will do for you that which you will be afraid to do for me, even with the truth. But don't worry, I won't let you fall. Those are my terms.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the contrast that I speak of. And these are the things that we all need to see, and we cannot see them until we're neutral and go, yeah. You got to look at the bullshit. In order to, that's the shit that the roses grow from. Me, I got roses. And boy, talk about a field full of shit that I had to wade through to get them. But you should see them now. And I hand them out freely. They're infinite. They're yours. They always were and they always will be. But do not think for 1 second that I will back down. And I'm not doing that out of arrogance.
I would get your ass if you did. And I would find you and I will tear your tits off. Because I know who you are.
They're there, but there's nothing up there to tear off, so I would be very But see, that's the thing. That was the choice I made 4.5 years ago. And that was the choice that my own family couldn't understand. You see, my own family turned against me when they were the ones that I was doing all the fighting for to begin with.
Ah. So the love stops if you change the body and you're not perfect like I want you to. As long as I was created in their image of what they needed, you see, that's the thing. Yeah. It was all about them and what they wanted, what they needed. They never had to pay, mortgage or, car payments or any of that. None of them had to do any of that. They didn't have to pay for groceries, heat, hydro, none of that stuff. I carried all of that. On occasion, like in the last sense, my ex and of course Sue, my recent ex, chipped in occasionally, but I remember Sue being unemployed for almost a year. And she was living with me. I didn't ask her for a penny. Not a dime. And when she needed help because her employer that railroaded her out of her severance, she was, I think, a week short of 5 years, which would have given her a larger severance at the time. Made sure they shit-canned her a week before that term. She wouldn't get that. And I ended up going after them. She got it all. I don't fuck around, guys. I make it real clear. And I didn't have a whole lot of experience coming into this originally free man movement. And then, of course, what it really is a truth collecting. This is not a truth movement. This is simply finding and accepting truth now. I had a few instances prior to, divorce, that situation with Sue, and a few other things, but nothing really other than that to really start looking. But I knew it had something to do with the name. Even then, it goes back to getting rid of the Canada Revenue pirates. I have often thinking about, because I knew I had to get this. Why? You have said it so many times. We wonder. The world is falling apart, and nobody answers why. And exactly today, this old man, when I was talking blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, and he said nobody asked why. Yeah, I'm going to have
to cut you short. We got like 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes before we roll out. We got Ben coming on here, so I'm going to ask you if you can to pop onto the table tonight, and we can continue this on. Very worthy conversation that is helping expose a lot of things for a lot of people. But in the meantime, what I want to do is make sure I got this here. Got it? Okay. I just want to make sure I get the shout-outs. I just want to say a great big thank you to Apology of Body and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk, and of course all of you that are changing the world, whether you think it or not. See, that's a nice thing. I don't think it, I know it, because I see the results of your actions. Where you may think it is something very small, it doesn't matter. you throw a pebble in a pond, it's going to ripple to every shore. And that's what you're doing. The difference now is we're not just pebbles, we're mountains getting tossed into ponds, emptying them. All the truth comes out. And on that,
their walls are falling. The momentum is now with us. It's our time now. At the most pivotal point in history is Critical Mass Radio, 24/7 Truth Radio. Help us to help you. Please go to www.criticalmassradio.co.uk and subscribe £1, £2 or £3 a month. The critical mass has been reached. We must come together. We must stand together. For ourselves, for each other, for our future generations. criticalmassradio.co.uk. Now, it's our turn.
and also a very special thank you to Giuseppe, Lightworkers Media, for all the work that you do getting these videos out on YouTube for everyone to have at their immediate disposal within 24 hours or less. It's always less, actually, of a show being aired. For this one, if you could title it "As Per Your Fraud" would be the ideal title, Giuseppe. So thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you to everyone, the translators that are working so hard to translate the documents and essays into other languages. Babylon Has Fallen is 18 plus languages now. Everyone that's doing the work in Kate's Kids Cove to help enlighten the children, to give them their voice back, where they can choose which they want to learn and what motivates their hearts, because that's all that matters. So we teach our children to follow their hearts now, instead of following some slave system that we were trained to follow. Thank you to Ninja for all the work that she does, getting the essays out onto the cateofgaia.wordpress.com website, and to each and every one of you that is making a stand in the truth for everybody. Because when you stand for yourself, you are standing for all. But more importantly, when you stand for all, the self is already standing. And that's the difference. Understand, one God stand, der, meaning the in German, theos, God, one God stand, in ear stand, in ia ro, stand. I can carry on for hours on those two words alone to show you how beautiful they both are and how sinister they can be. So please do not be disillusioned by polarized definitions. If you are using a dictionary and only a dictionary, you are a fool, because a dictionary is the last book you should go to. After it all, it was the first, right? No sense in going back and doing circles again. So thank you to everybody. We're rolling out here now for Ben to come in. And so stay tuned to criticalmassradio.co.uk for Ben, and it'll be another great afternoon with him. So please stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys from 7 to 9 p.m. tonight, which is in approximately 4 hours, a little over 4 hours from now, back at the table on criticalmassradio.co.uk with Outside the Box. The Emerald Table is yours. We wish you would come and feast. Bring some dessert, but come and feast on the truth that we present. Much love to everybody. Take care and have a great afternoon.
Great.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.